Hey guys, and welcome to Lay It Out. I'm your host, Miss Peaches, and these are my co-hosts,
Xavier
and
Kiana.
And today we have a great show for you guys. All right, so our topic today is, in what order should these subjects go in as they pertain to your lifestyle? Okay, and we're going to talk about house, car, college, marriage, kids, and career. Now, as people get older, things start to change. When you're younger, as a teenager, you think you got your life together and you're going to do this and everything's going to be cool. But as you get older, you start to change your thought process, okay? So I just wanted to talk about how we go about ordering our steps, all right? So let's get into it. First, I want to talk about houses, okay? When we're younger, we grow up in a house, whether it's your mom's, your dad's, hopefully they're together, your grandma's house, they teach you things that you need to know about everyday life, how to cook, how to clean, and how to present yourself, okay? Manners. And as you grow into your teenage years, these are the times where you're thinking, okay, I'm going to go and get me all this stuff and I'm going to prepare myself for when I want to move out on my own. But the question is, at 18, is it really good for kids to go on and move out on their own? One way of thinking about it is that, yes, eventually the kids have to, leave the nest, if you will. They have to go out there and see things for themselves. They can't depend on their mother or father or their parental guardian all their life. So they have to go out into the world and do things on their own. However, also when you're 18, it might be too early for the person to go out because they're not mature enough. So, since you guys are teenagers, you will be 15 this year. I want to know, do you think once you hit 18, that's a good time for you to go out into the world? And if not, then tell me why. Why would you say that as well? Xavier.
So, I think 18 is a good age to at least go out into the world, get you some responsibilities, because, you need to grow up and develop still. Mm-hmm. Believe it or not, people say that when they're 18, they're just adults.
They're adults, right.
They're still children. You're not an adult, at least until you're like 25. That's what I think.
Okay.
So they still need time to develop, and they need to know what to do out in the real world. So
are you saying that you're for them going out there at 18, or they need to stay in the house?
I'm for them going out at 18.
Okay. All right. So what about you, Kiana? How you feel about it?
Sorry, Xavier, but I'm against that.
Okay.
Because, sometimes 18 years old act like they're children.
Oh, okay. They're immature. Right.
Immature.
Mm-hmm.
They don't really... 18-year-olds should just stay until, with their mothers or fathers or whomever they live with, until they're, 25 and they have that mindset, how to pay bills, how to pay taxes, and stuff like that.
Okay. Well, with me, I wouldn't quite say 25. I would go up to the age of 21 or 22, and that's because if you're in college. Now, if you're in college and you're going to a prestigious college or a college that is a 4-year university or higher learning, then I believe we should give all the support that we can as parents or guardians to the children and let them stay there. We can have them either pay rent there or they can just be rent-free, to build up money for when they go out into the world. It is very, very important for them to know that they have security, okay? And what I mean by that is that they have our support, that they have a stable home. They don't have to worry about that along with going out into the world and college and things of that nature. And so just like with you, Xavier, you getting out into the world and going to college, if you wanted to stay home, either one of you, but specifically you, because my son, you guys, believe it or not, wants to go to Howard University. Excuse me, Harvard University. Wow. Like, clap it up for that. You know what I'm saying? And I told him you have to make very good grades to go to Harvard, okay? And if you want to stay home and get your education and really focus on it and not be worried about, are you going to get kicked out? Is your rent going to be paid? And all this thing, these things. I am all for you staying at home until you graduate. So that's where I am on that. As adults, once you go over 18 and you have no other responsibilities, you're not looking to go to college, you don't have any kids, things of that nature, I do believe that you should go ahead and experience going out into the world. So I am saying yay for college students, nay for people who's not going to college. All right. Now, let's talk about cars, okay? Excuse me. So cars, is it good for you to go ahead and get a car at 18 or 16? And should you focus on getting a car before your home, your career, marriage, kids, all these things? I would say if you're living at home with your parents, then if they don't want you to pay rent or anything like that, then this should be okay. You can focus on getting a car. One reason is you do not want to be completely dependent on your parents or your guardian because they're already paying your bills at the house. You're stable with that. You don't want them to have to be able to take you around as well. Say you got a job and your guardian has a job. That might coincide with each other, so you can't really be on time at one job or the other. So it'll at least be responsible of you to have a car. Okay? So how do you guys feel about that? I know in 2 years, well, in a year, because you'll be 15 this year, you can have a car or at least have your license. Do you feel that you should get a car or you should just let your parents drive you around?
I say you should get a car at 16.
Okay.
That is legally when you can drive, and I know that if I were a parent, I wouldn't want to drive my son or daughter around everywhere they go. Okay. So driving at 16, if y'all have like a job at McDonald's or something like that, that is a good thing to have.
Okay. What about you, Kim?
I'm going for the yes and no part.
Okay. Why is that?
The yes part is that what Xavier was saying here. The no part is that it's not very safe for having a 16 years old driving around with a new car or your car. Especially if they go to school. They could. So
you're saying that you believe that they are not mature enough to drive at that age. You believe that they need to be, 18 or able to be grown and out on their own in order to drive?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I can see where you're coming from with that. Like I said, a lot of kids nowadays, they're not mature enough to drive. We have to teach them the correct way to drive. Turn your radio off or down. Well, if you're trying to get the driver's license, don't even have it on. I don't know if people even told you that, but do not turn that radio on at all. If you're driving, turn it to down or off. Make sure you're not on the phone. So say we got a mature person, right? We let them drive. But at the same time, we should also be mindful of the people who are on the street driving. It's not always our kids who are at fault. There are grown adults out there who can't even drive. And so we should be mindful of that and telling them to watch others along with watching what they're doing, okay? So I would say yes to them getting their license maybe to see if they're mature enough, you let them drive your car a little while. You be in the car, or they be with someone that's 18. And if they're mature enough, then you let them drive. But yeah, I would prefer someone always be with them if they're driving. So that's what I say, okay? All right, our next subject is college. All right, so is college one of the number one things on your list? Well, with me, while I was inside my mother's house, I always told myself, yes, eventually I want to finish school, 12th grade, excuse me, and go to college. And I believe that that was one of the more important things before I decided to do anything else. I don't mind staying at home if I had to, as long as I got into college. But I took another route, and I said, my mind changed once I got into 12th grade. I was like, I want to be out on my own and things like that. So I got my place before I actually went to college. The reason why I'm saying this is because you may think one way one day, and then the next year, when it's time for you to do that, you might change your mind. I waited, I think, about 4 or 5 years before I actually went to college, y'all. Yes, I did. I said, I'm going to take a year break. That year break went into 4 or 5 years. In that time, end up with these beautiful babies. And I said, you know what? No, I'm going to still go to college. Okay. And so I did. I went and I got my bachelor's degree in business management. And I'm so thankful for that. And that's why I want businesses and things like that now. I say, if you're going to college, do something with your degree. Don't just sit on it. That's a lot of money that you're wasting. Okay. You got to pay student loans. Hopefully, and if you get scholarships, don't waste them. These scholarships can go to someone else, you know, who can't even provide money to go to school. So I would say, yes, go to college if you can. Okay. But nowadays, there's a lot of things that you can learn on YouTube. Now, if you're trying to be a doctor, go to college. A nurse, go to college. A very successful lawyer, go to college. But other little things, maybe you can learn, you know, from YouTube. What do you think about college, Kiana?
Well, I think college should be the very first one on your list.
Okay.
Because
so all these things are, once you hit 18, how should you order your steps? Okay.
It's smart, and also, like, you should get your own place if you want to, but it should be like an apartment.
Okay, so college. So you do believe that you should go to college first?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so do you believe at that point you stay on college campus or you stay at home?
You stay at home because
okay.
I've heard stories about college. You don't really have like an oven to cook food on.
Oh, okay.
You have like a microwave to cook food.
That's one of the downfalls about being in a dorm. Yeah. And then the living situation, you know, if you're going to college, trying to see if you want to move out on your own or stay at home with your folks. So, okay. What about you, Xavier?
So, I think as soon as you get out of high school, that is the number one priority that you should be focused on. And don't be focused on the other stuff. Don't be focused on parties and stuff like that. You need to focus on college and how you're going to pay for college. I recommend not taking out student loans because that can rack up to a lot of money, like $60,000. And then if you don't pay it, there's interest, and I just don't do student loans. So I think have your parents or somebody, mainly your parents, to save money for you, and you save money for yourself, so they're not doing all the work. And I do recommend getting financial aid too. So
you can get financial aid, but in another way, not in loans, but you mean as far as grants and scholarships?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. That is where Making good grades come into play, you guys. For all the young people who are out there watching, make it easier on yourself to make good grades to where they want to send you to school. That's where you get the scholarships and grants. Okay? Don't make bad grades to where you say, okay, well, I want to go to school after I get out of high school. I want to go to college, but I know my grade's bad. I'm going to have to pay all this money for someone to take me into college. You don't want to have to be in that boat. You know, try your very best now. And not only just for college, but it teaches you, even if you're not going to college, you guys, even if you're against it or you don't want your kids to go or they decide that they don't want to go, at least be smart. Soak up everything you can, kindergarten through 12th grade, and use that in your day-to-day lives. A lot of people think that most of the stuff that you learn, you don't even use it. You can say that a lot of stuff we don't use, like algebra and all that, unless you're into college and you major in a certain subject, and then you have to use these numbers and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But usually, as long as you have a 5th grade knowledge level, okay, you do pretty fine out in the world, as long as you're taking notes from elderly people, your elders, what I mean. So, yeah, I would say college for me is a yes. Only if you're really into it and you're focused. If you're not focused, you guys, I say no. I don't care how long it takes you. If it takes you 5 to 10 to 15 to 20 years before you actually get focused, that's when you go to college, because you're going to have to pay back that money regardless, somehow, some way. Excuse me. So you don't want to have to be behind twice. You get what I'm saying? Trying to play catch up while you're in college because you didn't do what you're supposed to. You've been out all night. You ain't been focusing. Plus, you got to pay back the money. So don't double whammy yourself, okay?
Plus, if those student loans build up over time, they're gonna start garnishing you, which means if you get a paycheck, they're gonna take money from that.
That's correct. Good job. Yes. So you don't want them to be taking money from your check and you already just getting by. We don't want those things, okay? So, our next subject is marriage. Now, I know you kids don't particularly know about marriage, but for the adults and 18 and older, okay? Like I said, this is 18 specifically and older. I believe, marriage should be something very sacred. You should be very serious about it. Even when you're at the point where you're asking someone to marry you. And at that point, you get engaged. That should be taken seriously because you're vowing to not talk to anyone else. You're promising that I want to be with only this person and vice versa. The person is accepting that and vowing the same thing. Now, for those out there who have a lot of partners, you know what I mean, marriage is not for you. Especially not at that moment. I won't say that a player can never change, okay? They always say the saying, don't H the player, H the game. Well, listen, the game has been around forever, okay? It's just different players doing different things. But what you can do is become a better player. Not in a bad sense. What I mean by that is, if you're in a game, and you know you're doing wrong and everything just seems to be going wrong for you, why don't you change it up? Why don't you try something new? Okay? And that means try being a better person. Why don't you give your partner an actual chance and see if they can be someone you look forward to spending the future with? If that is something that you can see yourself doing, then commit to it. Our problem nowadays is it's so hard for us to commit, so to speak. But it really isn't. It's just how much determination you have. Now, marriage is a commitment in itself. You have to commit to one person for the rest of your life. You have to Forsake all others, meaning, look, they're on the outside, whether it be your mother, your father, even your children. You have to put this person first, okay, and vice versa. Now, I'm not saying discard your family. I'm not saying that. I'm saying this person you have a vow with, a covenant with, a commitment with. They come first. Of course, God always comes first before everything, okay? But this person comes first. If you're not willing to put that person first, don't even attempt to make them think that they're going to be first. Meaning getting down on one knee and just, will you marry me? Just to make them be quiet. You're not doing anything but hurting them and hurting yourself, because guess what? You're going to have a lot of problems in the long run. Excuse me. Even though I know you guys, you two, haven't been married and too young for marriage right now, you see me and your dad, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
And we have ups and downs, but we love each other. But no matter what goes on, we always respect each other. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you believe, even by seeing us or seeing other people, that one, people should get married and commit to one person, or two, no, they shouldn't. They should just date around and just be with a lot of people?
Well, like that nope part. Well, I'm not saying you should date around and date multiple people at the same time.
Okay.
I'm gonna say you should date one person to see if you want to marry them. If you're happy with them, just like ask them to marry you.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I think people should get married, depending on if you fight a lot or you don't fight a lot that much.
Right. It depends on how you interact with each other. Are y'all compatible with each other? Are y'all really into each other as far as you have the same likes and qualities and respect for each other? That's good.
But I personally wouldn't get married at all.
Okay. Well, that's your preference. Okay. You just choose to be by yourself, or you just don't like nobody?
I just
you
don't like nobody except you know.
You don't. So do you mean that you're not interested in anyone? That's what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, hey, people are out there who's not looking for a partner. They're focused on themselves. And that's what she's saying. And so, hey, okay. So what about you, Xavier?
I think that dating around is not something you should do. Okay. Especially because if you have problems with cheating, if you have ever done that, cheating and stuff like that, just don't do it. If you know you'll break somebody else's heart, and then you know you'll break your own heart, then I wouldn't do that. Mm-hmm. Now, with marrying, I think you should marry at least, I would say 30. I'm not sure.
Around 30. Once you get yourself together, you think, okay.
Because so you date somebody and you date one person at a time, okay?
Right.
Cause
don't be a cheater.
So you say you date one person at a time, and I would wait like a year or two, because you know, if you do 6 months and propose, that's not something you should do, because
you're thinking that's too soon.
That's way too soon. Okay.
So you suggest at least 2 years, two,
3.
Okay,
maybe.
2 or 3 years before you propose.
That means they're committed.
Okay, so you believe that they're committed then. All right, I agree. I wouldn't say 6 months. No, you just gotta wait until a certain time. If you feel, I say at least 6 months. I'm just saying, but 6 months is a time where people might say, look, I done saw all that I need to see. Anything unexpected, as long as it's not super bad, I can deal with it. Everybody has flaws and things like that, so let's do it. All right, and you do it. But you have to know that if you get married early, that soon, you're still going to be filling each other out. So you got to leave room for error, because things are going to happen. And guess what? The longer you stay together, the more things you're going to go through. Mm-hmm. It's not like a good list of things that's just going to happen to you all your life while you're married. No, you're going to have ups and downs. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be perfect is what I'm saying. And no marriage is. No matter how good you smile in front of the camera and all these things, no. You have to be able to allow room for error and allow room for growth. If somebody did something, especially if you're married, you got to be willing to forgive. You don't have to forget, but be willing to forgive and to move forward towards making the situation better. Excuse me, y'all.
Now, cheating, guys. Don't forgive that.
Okay, so yes. With cheaters, that's different. It's your prerogative. You know, if you decide to take that person back, it's on you. Me, my thing is, if you cheat on me, it's over. Like, please don't ever try to get back with me. It's a done deal.
Me too.
So needless to say, you know, not just talking about my relationship, but me and my husband, we've been together for years, and we commit to each other, and we say, hey, that's the straw. We just ain't gonna cheat on each other. We can go through anything. We're not gonna cheat on each other, and we're not gonna be physical. Okay, let's not be physical. That's not good either. But cheating, oh my gosh, no.
That's the worst thing you can do.
All right, so I say, yay for marriage as long as you have everything in order. You get what I'm saying? As far as you know, you have a plan for your life, and you believe that this person will help you with that plan. Okay? So that's when I say yes. Preferably, if you can wait a little while longer, that's good. But if you're 18 and you believe, hey, this person can help you, go for it. Mm-hmm. All right, so our next subject, you guys, is kids. These little boogers, okay?
Booger face.
All right, so, of course, we're talking about 18 and older, specifically 18. Once you hit 18, since you're considered an adult, I ain't gonna say grown, a legal adult at that time, is it cool for you to have kids at 18? Yes, you can have kids at 18 if you want to. However, I believe that you should wait a little longer. I believe that at least wait for the years to pass as far as you could be in college. And if that's, say, if you're going to a 4-year college, that's 4 years. So 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So at least wait till you're 22, 21 or 22, either one. I say then that's cool. At least you done lived a little on your own, and you can decide if you want to have someone else in your life. Now, this is someone you're going to have to take care of, okay, for 18 years. That's why I said, if you believe that you can do that, live a little first. See how it feels having your freedom. Because remember, you're in the house with your mama. You got a car, but she paying all the bills. Now you done got out in the world. You going to college, but you're still with your mama. Just saying a scenario, going through the steps. But then you finally finna get out on your own. You met somebody, you love them. You like, maybe we can get married, you know. But do you want to have kids right then? Now you're going to have your own little family that you got to take care of. Then guess what? Grandmama can say, I ain't watching nobody's baby today. You better go ahead and take care of your own kids. I'm here to spoil them and send them back. That's what she'll say, your grandmama or your mama. And so, yeah, I just think that you should wait a little bit longer. Wait to at least 21 before you have kids. What do you think, Xavier?
I think that you should wait until after marriage, a couple of years after marriage, because
whenever you get married.
Because if you have kids before then with somebody who could just leave you after you have the kids, because with a marriage it's a bond.
Okay.
they'll have to divorce first.
Right,
So,
you got to go through more steps with the marriage and things like that.
right.
And the court system has it set up for the parent to continue to give support to the child after the divorce. Versus just being in a relationship and y'all have a child, that person go their separate way and don't never see you or the baby no more. Right? Okay. So what do you think, Kiana?
I think as a small child,
Kids or no kids? This girl already
as
know.
much as I love kids, I don't want no kids.
Oh.
And personally,
This girl want to be alone with some cats. No, I'm just playing. Okay.
I think 18 years old shouldn't have no kids. At least wait until you like a little bit older.
Thanks for the hearts.
Like a little bit older.
Mm-hmm.
Then have kids. And like Xavier said, you should later on in that marriage to have kids.
Okay.
Because that person could just leave you with one snap of a finger.
Okay.
It's like,
Well, and I do want to point out, you guys, you both were saying that the person can just leave you. Okay, so that's a negative thing. But even if everything is right, with you and your partner and y'all married and y'all have kids, you have to think of other things that you want to do in life, and are they going to be a hindrance from that? Now, I never think a child is a hindrance to me with nothing. But some people do believe that children can get in the way of other things that they're trying to do. And with that being said, we're going to go on to career. They think that kids can get in the way of their career. Now, let me tell you something. Just because you have a child does not mean that you cannot have your dreams come true. Let me tell you something. God put 2 kids in my life that helps me with my career.
yeah.
Okay? So just to know that I could have thought so negative and said, you know what? I want to just try to do everything that I possibly can before I have kids. Could have led me into another direction where I didn't even meet their father. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I say that everything happens for a reason. Even if, say if you had a child at 16, don't believe that your life is over. God has a plan for you. Yes, you made a mistake, but God still has a plan for you and your child. You know why? Because he allowed both of you guys into this world for a reason. Okay? Now, your child may be there to make you grow up faster because you was moving too slow. Okay? And then after you graduate, you start to feel more responsibility to watch over someone else's life. Mm-hmm. So it makes you want to get up, go to work, be there on time, go and get food, go and do what you're supposed to do. See, kids are not always a hindrance. Mm-hmm. To me, they're not, like I said, but don't try to put it on the child. First of all, the child didn't ask to be here. Y'all did that. But also, be happy that they're here. Involve them in everything that you do. Okay? If you get that house and you have kids, okay? So let's just talk about kids and everything else. If you have that house, allow those kids to be into the decorative mode. What y'all think we should do with this house? Involve them. The cars. Hey, what's the latest model cars y'all done seen? What should we do with this car? You know, I see that y'all are out there with sports and stuff. Hey, let me drive y'all to y'all sports event. I want to show off my car. Just joking. But seriously, college. This is a serious one right here. You can have some young kids and you've been down so long, you don't know what to do. You're like, man, how am I going to do anything and I have 2 young kids? That's where you need to get a support system, okay? Your family or your husband or your significant other or whatever. And you say, you know what? You look at them babies and you say, you know what? You are the reason why I'm going to college, to make something of myself. See, they'll help you. Marriage. A lot of times it takes the kids to make the marriage work. I don't lie. Sometimes it takes the kids to keep the marriage together because they don't want to deal with other stuff. But then they find out, hey, we actually do love each other. If we sit down and listen to each other, then it's not as bad as I thought. Be willing to compromise in the marriage, you guys, okay? It can't be a one-sided street.
One-sided street.
And lastly, with your career, like I said, I can't say this enough. I love that I had my kids. You know, I was 21, 22. They came about. You know, I love them to death. Do you hear me? Would do anything for them. You see them? When you see me, you used to see them, right?
Yeah.
Involve them in what you're doing. This keeps them out of the streets. This keeps them focused. I just want to say two things. Excuse me, y'all. I want to congratulate my kids on this platform for being very smart and crafty. Kiana's very talented in her artwork, her technology skills as far as like that computer. This is a computer whiz, and designing stuff. Oh my gosh, she is very good. Xavier excels in his studies at school. He is a science guru, okay? He knows a lot about science. And my son, you guys, like I stated before, wants to go to Harvard. Do you think I ain't gonna do everything in my power to send my baby to school? She want to go to art school. I'm gonna send her to art school too. But Harvard, how many young black men nowadays, even back then, but I'm just speaking on now, are saying that they want to go to Harvard and are making the grades right now to go to Harvard?
18%.
You don't see that many young men like that. You don't see that. So we need to inspire our kids to do whatever they believe that they can do in life. Encourage them. Let them know that, hey, if you can dream it, it can happen. Okay?
Even and receive it.
That's right. But you know what? All these things tie together. And it's truly up to you. Whatever order you want. So all I ask that you do is please order your steps. Just now I'm finna get religious on you, okay? God said order your steps. Okay? God said he'll order your steps. So why won't you help him by making a plan? He'll do all that he needs to do. You know, he got it covered. He know what's going to happen before it happens. But at least, won't you at least have a plan and try to go about it the right way? You know, a lot of people don't know which way to go. You know, they're like, hey, I'm just here. What I do now? Listen, God didn't create us to know everything. That's why there's knowledge and wisdom out there. You know, if we knew everything, then why would we even seek God? The all-knowing. Y'all gonna get me in here shouting in a minute. Let me tell you. Stick with it. This message is for somebody out there. Stick with it. Because there is an ultimate plan for you. There is an ultimate success for you. Only person stopping you is you. Not these naysayers. Not your ex-friends or your ex-boyfriend and girlfriend. Not these H'ers. You are stopping yourself because you are believing what they are saying. Believe what God said about you. And let's all work together to uplift people too. It don't work if we keep putting people down. Okay? So let's do better. But with that being said, I'd like to thank y'all for even tuning in. I appreciate it so much. You know, we lay it out. We come to y'all every Friday at 5 p.m. on live and YouTube, Instagram. And I want you to just check out all my YouTube channels. So we're going to give you the rundown before we leave, all right? On Mondays, we have
Mazeiki
Comedy, where these two are going to have some little funny little skit or something funny that we're going to post every Monday at 5. On Tuesdays, we have Taco Twin Tuesday. Excuse me. Well, my kids, they're going to make a Mexican dish, okay, for you guys in the kitchen. Or we have 2022 Tuesdays.
2022 Tuesday!
Where they're going to make any dish that you guys decide to leave in the comments. You know, we'll pick one and we'll just go and cook it, or we'll create a dish and show you guys, okay? All right, so on Wednesday, we have Mazeiki's Art. Kiana is going to either draw something on YouTube for you guys, or she's going to draw a picture and I'm going to post it on Facebook and Instagram and things like that. And we love your support, you guys. Please give thumbs ups, you know, likes, comments. Please subscribe. Okay, I'm going to get to that in a second. Thursdays, also, I'm going to be promoting my music. Even if you heard it, if you haven't subscribed, please go subscribe to that channel. Leave comments if you like it and things like that. Share it, you know. I'm trying to get it to everybody who hasn't heard it. Or if you like to hear it, then you hear it again, you know. All right, on Fridays is Lay It Out every Friday at 5. And on Saturdays is What I Should Have Said Was. Now, let me take a moment and say this. Okay, so Friend and Shishi and Alex and all these people are getting on my nerves, honey. I'm like, y'all got to go see what I'm talking about in these comedy skits, okay? You know, these are comedy skits that I come up with. They start off with inspirational messages in the beginning, and they end with a comedy skit. I just been creative, thought of this a year ago, and so I do everything on my own with the help of my daughter and my son sometimes. And so I ask that you subscribe to that channel as well. Hit the thumbs up, like button, love button. Leave comments if you like the content. Let me know so the algorithm, is that how you say it, with YouTube will pick it up and they'll play it more in different places, okay? And last but not least, please check out Mazeiki's Church Service, where we speak the word. You know, we pass on God's word to everyone, and we want to make sure that you guys all come together and lift up your voices and sing praises to God. If it's anything that we can do to help and send a message to a loved one, a friend in need, anybody who need prayer or anything like that, we are always here. Please just leave us comments below. And again, I ask that you guys, please subscribe. Okay? You subscribe. It's going to be better for me, and I can get more material for you, okay? And please help support it. You know, I don't ask for any money or anything like that. If anything, I'm going to put, what's those called? Prizes and stuff like that out, giving it to you guys. All I ask is you subscribe and comment, things like that. Share it. So, again, we always love you. And until next time, my friends, always stay